Hi there. Let's talk about those frozen babies in Alabama. This is not an unexpected occurrence, the ruling of the Supreme Court in Alabama that frozen in vitro embryos are actually children and therefore protected under the law. In May of 22, in other words, almost 2 years ago, I asked the question, if we're going to have a trigger ban that says that constitutionally protected life begins at conception, then what about all those frozen embryos at in vitro clinics? This is not a small number of embryos. One estimate is that there are somewhere between 600,000 and 4 million frozen embryos at various IVF clinics around the country. So if we say not that life begins at conception or even that human life begins at conception, because both of those are problematic definitions, but if we say that constitutionally protected life begins at conception, then obviously all of those frozen embryos are illegal. Why? Because if you're frozen, you can't achieve your potential as a human being. At the end of the article I wrote in 22, I asked three questions. Will you arrest any person who discards an unwanted, unneeded embryo? Because part of the IVF process is that they often implant 2 or 3 embryos to hope that one will take hold, and then the other 2 are removed or thrown away. Will you arrest any person who freezes an embryo, thus preventing that person from achieving their potential? Or will you simply outlaw in vitro fertilization based on the personhood of the embryo? This is what happens when you have a religious dogma, a religious concept take the place of logical, lawful thought. Anybody who says that constitutionally protected life begins at conception is refusing to consider all the issues that statement raises. I have said many times, what about children who sue their mother for smoking while she was pregnant? What about children who do other things about their health because of what their mother did while she was pregnant? And of course, if personhood begins at conception, then all sorts of things become illegal, not just IVF frozen embryos. This was entirely predictable. And yet now we have Republican lawmakers saying, oh, we didn't mean that. Or what's wrong with these clinics that they won't just go ahead? We told them we wouldn't prosecute them. No, that's not the point. The point is that the Supreme Court of your state has now said that that's a crime. I believe they use the word murder for these frozen embryos. So either the legislature in Alabama has to do something to exempt IVF from this ruling, or they've got to accept the consequences, which I hope includes getting voted out of office for being so hypocritical about their stance.